I let AI pick a random hero and villain. Then I drew it. I had zero control over who it picked. The matchup it gave me was a little bit weird, but I drew it anyway. So recently I have had a little bit of art block and not really known what to draw when I've sat down in front of my sketchbook wanting to draw. So I decided to give AI a shot. And the first result was a little bit weird. Captain Biscuit, are you sure? So, with a little bit of jiggery pokery, I got the AI to actually pick a real hero, which it came up with Hellboy, and a real villain, which it came up with the Joker. So, that is what I am drawing right now. Let's get to it. So, yeah, these two characters were very random, and I decided to draw them in a very comic book style. It's not really the style that I am used to, but I thought as they were both mainly comic book characters, I thought that style would lend to the piece itself. As I said to you guys, this isn't my strongest forte, and I'm not overly happy with the outcome of the piece. But like I said in my last video, the art block is real. And I think it's just to do with this sketchbook. I know that I'm very close to the end of this sketchbook and I just want to get it completed so I can move on, put it out of my mind, and move on to a new sketchbook. I'm not sure whether that will help with the art blocks, but we'll give it a go. But I just want to get this sketchbook done. So yeah, we started off with a quick sketch. It wasn't really a quick sketch. It took me a really long time to figure out some poses for these characters. And again, I'm not really overly happy with the poses. I think it could be a little bit more dynamic. I split them up on to the 2 pages where maybe I should have had a little bit more crossover, and I think that would have been a little bit more impactful. So with this more comic book style, I wanted to focus on the black and whites a little bit more. I went in with my brush pen first and did some outlines and tried to focus on some thick and thin lines, which is very prominent in comic book work. Also focusing on hard black shadows, so really dark areas, and putting them in places that I'm a little bit scared to put them in, especially like on faces. I'm quite happy with putting them under necklines and under objects that cross over each other on a body or things that are sitting on a body. I don't hope that makes sense. But yeah, I'm not really it's not really my style to throw those big black dark shadows on faces and things. So I was a little bit scared and not sure. Again, I'm not happy with this piece. So it might come across as I'm putting this piece down a little bit, and other people might look at it and go, oh, yeah, actually, pretty good. Other people might think that's horrible because for the style that I was going with, it doesn't match up with the expectation in my head. Obviously, when you think of a character like the Joker or Hellboy, you have that vision in your head. And when I'm drawing something that's out of my comfort zone in a style that's out of my comfort zone, then it's never going to match up with that particular look that you've got going on in your head. So, yeah, I went with it and just kept trying. I kept persevering with it. And once I got all those black shadows and those inks down, I didn't mind it. It looked okay. It could have been better. I think the actual drawings of the characters themselves could have been a little bit better. And like I said at the beginning, the poses and the structure of the page might have worked a little bit better if it was a little bit different as well. So, but maybe I'm just being picky. After that, we focused on color. So, getting down some Copic markers, and not all Copic markers, some Hoo markers in there, but alcohol markers. I tried to get 3 of the same color, especially with the red of Hellboy. We started off with the lightest color, got that in as flats, and then went in with the darker shades and tried to go round the big black shadows of where the darker areas of the skin were. I'm not too unhappy with the coloring of this piece. Again, I'm not the best at blending with alcohol markers. I understand it. I've watched tutorials. I get what they're saying and I get how it should work. It just never seems to work for me. And I don't know what that is. Maybe it's the paper. It's quite absorbent, this paper that I'm using. So maybe that has something to do with it's not streaky, it's just a little bit patchy. And maybe I just need to keep on going over the same place again with the lightest color. And I think that will maybe make it more solid of a color. But anyway, yeah, as I said, I kind of like the way the coloring turned out. It's a little bit more than what I normally do for a piece in this sketchbook. Normally, it's just either one color or two colors for one area. So if it's green for green or if it's purple for purple, I might pick a couple of purples that will go into that and make a shadow and a light area and a shadow area. But for this, I tried to push it and add a little bit more shading, a little bit more of that comic book feel. One of the biggest things in this piece that I really not happy a bit. This video is more about me complaining about the piece rather than actually talking about it. Maybe I shouldn't do that as much. But anyway, yeah, the background, I just couldn't decide what I wanted to do with the background. I drew in a floor and then realized that the perspective was a little bit off on that. And then I really didn't like it. So then I went in with some paint markers, and that's my favorite thing to do with a background, especially in this sketchbook at the moment. I don't know what it is, but I just like putting down some acrylic markers in the background. I've got quite a lot of different brands, different makes of brush acrylic markers, and just adding them as either a flat background or some textures in the background or just some random splotches or patterns. I've liked the way that kind of turns out. So that's what I decided to do with this. Decided to mix in some grays and some blues just so they were like in a city type thing. And I tried to add a bit of texture in the background as well, where we got different shades of gray and some black there that maybe looks like some rocks going up in the air. Maybe a little bit of movement. That's what I wanted to try and replicate in that background. But yeah, that is all I've really got to say about this piece. I'm not, as I said, not overly pleased with the way it came out, but it's another page, it's another 2 pages actually in my sketchbook. So this sketchbook is on its way to being complete, and I will finally, once this sketchbook is complete, I will finally tick off one of my 2026 art goals, which is to do a sketchbook tour on this video. I cannot wait to do that video. I don't know why. It probably won't get any views or anything like that. I'm not doing it for that. I just want to have a sketchbook tour video on this channel. And with each piece that I do in this sketchbook, we're getting closer and closer to having that to come to fruition. And hopefully in the next month or couple of months, depends how quickly I draw some stuff, that video will be finally on this channel. And I cannot wait. I don't know why, but I'm excited for that. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. If you did like it, please subscribe to the channel. Check out my other videos if you want to. And of course, I will see you guys next time.